What it do, family and friends? Welcome back to the Church of Black Power. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you're hitting that like and share button so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And if you have not done so yet, hit that link to change.org in the description and put your name on the petition for reparations. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, happy Juneteenth. And let us never forget what Juneteenth is about. It's not a Pan-African holiday. It's not about Pan-Africanism. And the colors are not Pan-African. Juneteenth is about one thing and one thing only, and that's foundational Black Americans. That's it, and that's all. June 19th, Galveston, Texas. Union soldiers arrived with the news that slavery in America had been abolished. That's what it's about. It is not about anything other than that. It's not about Haiti. It's not about the Caribbean. It's not about any of that. This is not a Juneteenth flag. This is not a Juneteenth flag. This is not a Juneteenth flag. This is not a Juneteenth flag or image. This is not a Juneteenth flag. This is not a Juneteenth image. This is the Juneteenth flag. Notice the Juneteenth date on the side of the flag. June 19th, 1865. This is our flag. This is the Juneteenth flag. So many people are trying to co-opt this day, and it's despicable. It is despicable. On Saturday, we had the Rally for Reparations / Juneteenth celebration. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it due to issues that happened with my business. But it was a wonderful turnout from what I saw. And all that day, there was so much anti-Black hate, it was ridiculous. But more so over, there was so much FBA hatred. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. People who have nothing to do with our lineage was running around questioning why things were what they were. Why Tariq, who spent a lot of his time and his own money putting this together, was accepting donations. Why we as foundational Black Americans was giving him donations. Why we even believe in Tariq. Here's the thing, and I want to make this very clear. Foundational Black Americans believe in Tariq because the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. This man has done too many things to count for the community. The Hidden Colors series alone, American Maroon, Buck Breaking. These are some of the things that he's done to show us who we are. I'm not even talking about all the things he's done. I'm only talking about just in the small amount of productions that he's put on. And he has a lot of productions. I'm just saying these 3 small productions. I'm not even talking about Microphone Check or anything else that this man has put out. I'm talking about 3 specific productions that I can say directly affected Black America and the consciousness of our people. I'm not even talking about the events the man puts on. When you can actually step into neighborhoods of foundational Black Americans and be loved by all kinds of people in the neighborhoods. And when I say all kinds of people, I'm talking about squares, I'm talking about gangsters, pimps, hustlers, thugs, whatever. Then you know that you've done good. The people looking from the outside cannot see that good because they're on the outside. So every time you turn around, you get somebody on the outside speaking about what's going on the inside, and they don't know what the hell is going on in your house. This is what it is. So Tariq is loved because we know what's going on in our house. We know the people who is pushing the needle and moving things in our house. And it's not for anybody else to know who the people we hold up and lift up on a pedestal because they are putting in the work. It's not up to other people to know what's going on with them. It's not up to other people to celebrate them. It's not up to other people whatsoever. When I was younger, my grandfather from Sweetport, Louisiana used to tell us, if you mind your own, you live long. If you mind your own, you live long. These people just refuse to mind their own. And in that, they're causing stress upon their own heads because they're wondering why this and wondering why that. It's not for you to know. It's not for you to know. So shout out to Brother Tariq. Shout out to Black Alpha. Shout out to Dr. Ma'at. Shout out to Afro Elite, Vicky Diller, and everyone else that was not just speaking, but that was there. Because what that rally does is show the world who actually have the influence and what we actually want on the agenda. Who has the influence and what we actually want on the agenda. And to all the haters that was out there speaking bad because of the fact you didn't like this and you didn't like that, let me be very clear with you, because a lot of them And there's one in particular that I'm thinking of. I'm not going to say his name, but if you know who he is, you know what I'm talking about. Do not put his names in the comment. But this one person in particular who sounded like he was jealous, he wasn't invited to speak. To this person, I say, hold your lips. I don't care what your stature is. I don't care who you are. If you are FBA, you should not be speaking about this event in a negative manner at all. Because from my ears and what I hear, it's jealousy. And you do the movement a disservice due to your jealous actions. You do the movement a disservice by using your jealousy against the movement in itself. Let me be very clear when I say that. And now we move on, because that's what we do with negativity in this movement. We address it, we cut it off, and then we keep going, because the movement will not be slowed down by someone else's jealousy. Y'all remember that movie clip? It was made into a meme. And the young man was talking about, I built this, me, that's who, and I'll be damned if I let another nigga tear it down because he don't like the way another nigga talk. That's what this movement is for us. We'll be damned if we let anybody tear this movement down because they don't like the way another nigga talks. Because you don't like the way another nigga move. And you don't like the way we address this situation when people like you and other people are off code. Moving along. And I apologize, family. I'm very passionate when it comes to our people. I love our people with a passion. Some may say the passion of Christ. And it infuriates me to hear people speaking negatively about an event that was so positive, and you're supposed to be a part of our lineage. It infuriates me. But what also infuriates me is when we put on these kinds of events and you have people trying to toss their agenda in the mix. Because apparently at this event where we had so many of our FBA brothers and sisters right across the street, apparently this was going on. Yeah. A LGBTQ event. NBJC is an LGBT organization. But as you can see, they ain't got nobody there. They have no one there. They got more stagehands than they have people in the audience. You got more workers than attendees. Ain't that something? But see, this is what happens when you try to counteract the black grassroots. The artificial doesn't matter. They put on this event right across the street because they were trying to confuse people. Make people think that it was the same kind of event. They were working together. But the truth of the matter is, nobody fell for the gag. Not one. And reportedly, Tamika Mallory, my son's little running buddy, Al Sharpton's little mentee, was speaking at this engagement, and she was going back and forth from that engagement to the FBA rally. So when we speak about agents in the community, this is what we mean. People who are bought and paid to kind of swerve the agenda, try to throw off the events of foundational Black Americans, aka American freedmen. And shout out to Marcel Dixon, because he held a wonderful space, which we're going to be going over in another video. But these are the people that we're speaking about when we're talking about agents in our community. You have several kinds of agents. You have your tethers. You have your tap dancing, boot licking coons, Sambos. And you have people who don't even know that they're agents playing the agent roles. And by that, I mean people who retweet certain things because they might agree with it, not knowing that it's anti-Black. People who repost things doing the same. I've had to correct a lot of people over the years. But these are the three kinds of agents that I've been able to see. And I'm sure you've been able to see them as well. And if there are more agents that you've been able to see, drop it in the comments so we can add it to the whole lexicon of what's going on. But family, this LGBTQ event went absolutely nowhere. And to that I say, ha ha. The Most High don't like you playing with his people. The Most High don't like you playing with his people. So things will happen the way they're supposed to happen when we're standing on business. And for those who don't know, the MBJC is an LGBT organization, or didn't know. I want to make sure you do. Right here on Google, I ain't even got to hit the link, but when I hit the link, we're going to find out something interesting. The MBJC is a coalition that works to end racism, homophobia, and LGBTQ/SGL, don't know what that is, bias and stigmas for Black people. Now, when you hit this link to find out more about them, it's very interesting. So let's click it. Uh-oh, what's going on here? Spam? Oh, no. Go back. Let's try the about section. Let's try that. Oh, whoa. Okay. We got one. Okay. We got one. Because earlier, I was going through here, clicking on everything, and we kept getting things like this. We kept getting things like this. I mean, I'm very surprised we even got the about, because we kept getting things like this when I researched this. And just to let you guys see for yourselves that it isn't an issue with my computer or anything like that, let's check out the Wikipedia. When I click it, that pops right on up. Let's just scroll on down. LinkedIn pops right on up. Scroll on down. Facebook pops right on up. The website, however, security check. Action blocked. It was just very interesting to see that. But when you go to the Wikipedia, it tells you right here, right on the right hand side, focus, Black LGBTQ people. Black LGBTQ people. Democratically funded. Democratically funded. All right. Now, let's move along, because I want to show you not just the lack of attendance here, but what a real rally for Juneteenth and reparations look like. This is our rally here. This was the rally Tariq put on.
Nasheed, let's give that brother his flowers while he can smell them. Ashe. Clap it up for your black selves for being here today. Nasheed.
Look at all the people. Look at all my beautiful brothers and sisters. See, they were trying to curve this from happening. You could see for oceans of black peoples, oceans of foundational black Americans. Let's catch it from another angle.
Thank you. Give yourselves a round of applause, DC. Right. It is beautiful out here in Washington, D.C. I'm so glad to be out here with you guys. It's hot as hell, but I'm here. I got on my suit. Oh, yeah. I'm about to go down to Burlington to get some flip-flops, but I'm here with you. Family, first of all, happy Juneteenth. I'm very stingy about our culture, family. Are you stingy about your culture? We are all we need. Say, we are all we need. We are all we need. We don't need people tacking our Juneteenth onto all of these other things. We don't need that. Y'all notice that? Thank you. Give yourself.
Shout out to Tariq. We are all we got, and we are all we need. Because the problem with trying to have allies is all allies lie. And they try to put their agenda in our mix. You remember when you were young and your mom or your grandmama would be cooking and you try to sneak in the kitchen and grab a little taste? What they do? Tell your ass to get up out of her kitchen. Slap you on the hand with the wooden spoon. Get your hand out that pot. We got way too many people trying to put their hands in our pot. It has nothing to do with your taste buds. Whether you like it or not, has nothing to do with us. Stay out our pot. We got way too many people trying to put their hands in our pot. So, family and friends, it's up to us to spank that hand with that wooden spoon. Get your ass out our kitchen. And that's not just with the rally for reparations or Juneteenth. It's for our culture overall. That's our pot. And you Negroes who ain't a part of the FBA family must learn to keep your hands out of our pot. Are you gonna get that hand spanked with the wooden spoon? Over and over and over again. You even have people who are selected agents, by the way, trying to tie other people into our day and make it about them. People like Al Sharpton here, who is an agent of white supremacy, has always been an agent of white supremacy. His little body bobble-headed self decides to put on a Juneteenth event for Haitians to talk about Haiti. The extreme disrespect for Black Americans is real. So I'm gonna let you hear this bobble-headed buster, and then we'll continue.
Hi, I'm Reverend Al Sharpton. I am making an urgent plea for you to join Reverend A.R. Bernard and New York City faith leaders in conjunction with National Action Network and me on Wednesday, June 19th at 7:30 p.m. at the Christian Culture Center as we come together in an urgent emergency rally and prayer vigil for peace and stability in Haiti. Everyone is talking about different crises around the world, and I join on that. But what about Haiti? What about where people are dying, children?
What about Haiti? Here's a better question. What about foundational Black Americans going through worse here in America? You're not speaking for that. You're not putting on the rally to bring awareness to the fact that we need a national hate crime bill for foundational Black Americans. You're not doing that whatsoever. But you show pop up when somebody is unalived in our community, like the ambulance chaser that you are. But on a day that represents our ancestors, that's all it represents, our ancestors and the freeing of them. You want to make it about a whole different group that has nothing to do with our lineage, has nothing to do with what Juneteenth represents. 30 days, I believe, is in June. And out of those 30 days, you select Juneteenth to put on this farce of a rally. To put on this farce of a rally.
Children are dying. People are in an anarchistic society. We must stand with the people of Haiti. And I want you to be there. We won't hold you long, but we're going to be strong. That's Wednesday, June 19th, 7:30, Christian Cultural Center, 12020, Flatlands Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. You can go to www.National Action Network for further information. I'm looking for you to be there. This is an emergency.
Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I'm going to call it right here, right now, that this is going to be their turnout. And if they have any more than this, I guarantee you it will not be foundational Black Americans. It'll be tethers. It'll be Latinos. It'll be white folk. But it will not be this. It will be nowhere near this. It will be nowhere near this. Brothers and sisters, you will not have Black grassroots support at your rally like this. And it's so beautiful. I want to show you the timeline of the hashtag rally for reparations. That our good brother Black Alpha. Let's get a couple of words in from Black Alpha.
Let's make that clear. And there's one thing for certain. That is, they not like us. Never have. It's different, baby. Damn, it feel good. Don't it feel good to wake up every day in the land that your ancestors built, not immigrated to, not fled to. See, our ancestors didn't have to jump no borders. Let's make that clear. And this.
Shout out to our brother Black Alpha. You go down this timeline. Shout out to Dr. Mott. She did her thing. She was up there repping and stepping. When I say she was repping and stepping, she was representing us and making sure we represented ourselves. Shout out to the brothers and sisters who made the banner, who is out here doing it. See, this ain't what you're gonna get when you go to no Al Sharpton event. You're not gonna get the Black grassroots like we got here. You're not gonna get it. I can't remember the name of the group. I believe it was In Vogue. And now it's time for the breakdown. Never gonna get it, 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 never gonna get it. Woo, 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 woo. 'Cause you ain't. Because you're not going to get it. It's our brother Afro Elite.
We're here, unified together, standing together to say what we demand we're going to get. We're here to say everything we say, everything we demand, everything we are owed, we're going to get, and we're not going to compromise for anybody with anything.
Shout out to our brother Afro Elite. Vicky Dillard was...
First of all, you want us to revere this man that none of us has ever seen from over 2,000 years ago and revere this Messiah on Calvary. Watch this, watch this. But J. Edgar Hoover was concerned about another type of Messiah. I said J. Edgar Hoover, the former director of what? The FBI. And by the way, them folks want us to all of a sudden care because white folks getting caught up in the FBI. They talking about how they weaponizing the courts now and the courts ruling against us and the FBI. We ain't got time for none of that. You gotta get behind us.
Shout out to Vicky Dillard. We were out here thick, tough brothers and sisters. Tough. And this is what they're afraid of. This is what they hate. This is what they know we have the power to do. Get together and make it apparent that our agenda is not changing, nor is it going away. Our good brother Marcel. It's not going away. In many ways, this rally served more our brother, Big Daddy Kane. Our sister Brooke over here getting it in. But in many ways, this served many purposes. One, the major purpose that it served was making our agenda known. Let me say that again for the people in the back. Making our agenda known. But it also served as a family reunion. It also served as a tool for people to take back to their individual states, cities, and use on anyone who's speaking against reparations. This was used and can be used to combat the Democratic Party's talking points on the black agenda. Oh, black folks, they care about education, they care about economics, the economy, and they're more concerned about LGBTQ rights, and they're concerned about immigration rights and all this other crap. You can pull this right on up. No. This is our agenda. All you got to do is drop the clip in the comments. Nope, The agenda is reparations and a transformative black agenda. We're not here to speak about Haiti or anywhere else. They had their Juneteenth event in New York already. And what they're trying to do with these tether events is suck the air out of the room, and we will not allow it. Not at all. Not at all. We are owed reparations. The foundation of this country was built off of the slave labor of foundational Black Americans' ancestry. Not nobody else. Not nobody else. And you can look at all the different companies that made their wealth in slavery. Lehman Brothers, Aetna, JP Morgan Chase, New York Life Insurance Company, USA Today, N.M. Rothschild and Son Bank, Norfolk Southern, Fleet Boston, CSX, the Canadian National Railway Company, Brown's Brothers, Brook Brothers, the Barclay, AIG, and there the list goes on and on. This article only have about 15. So on this day, brothers and sisters, I'm going to take the time to use this day to speak about us and what we are owed. So I bring you, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not done it yet, I bring you the reading of the RDAS Act that I authored. And this act stands for the Reparations for the Descendants of American Slaves Act. This is not your typical reparations bill, like Jamal Bowman brought in a flat black plan. No. This isn't the talking points of the DNC. No. This bill directly affects the issues of foundational Black Americans, aka the American freedmen. And it is unfortunate that only 74 people have signed this petition. I've been going around with flyers, passing it out throughout Texas. Well, Houston, to be more specific. On college campuses like Texas Southern University. But it's okay, because I know that the numbers will jump as they are supposed to. And a lot of these people on HBCU campuses aren't even really foundational Black Americans. A lot of them took those flyers that I was passing out and probably tossed them in the trash. Even though they had the little QR code on it, so I know if they wanted to sign, they would have just signed it. Some people may say, well, maybe they forgot. No. They could have signed it right then and there, because every flyer at the bottom of the flyer has a QR code on it, which takes you directly to this page. But we're not going to dwell on that. I just want people to understand that a lot of people won't sign this petition because they get nothing from it. They get nothing from it. I'm going to say that one more time. Because they get nothing from it. And brothers and sisters, this petition is a work in progress. So if you come across something in this bill that you believe we should change, and it's a unanimous decision, and it forwards the bill positively, I have no problem changing anything. This is literally our bill. It's not about me. It's about you and your descendants and their descendants and their descendants. Now let's get into it. Why this petition matters. The systematic impact of slavery on the descendants reverberates through generations, manifesting in various social, economic, cultural, and psychological dimensions. Economically, the legacy of slavery has resulted in vast wealth disparities, with descendants of enslaved individuals often facing limited access to education, employment, and business opportunities and resources compared to their white counterparts. This economic disadvantage perpetuates cycles of poverty and hinders intergenerational wealth accumulation. The historical trauma of slavery and its aftermath continues to affect the mental health and well-being of descendants. The enduring legacy of systematic racism, discrimination, and violence has led to higher rates of stress, anxiety, depression, and other mental health issues that affect the descendants of American slaves. The social and cultural fabric of foundational Black American communities have been shaped by the legacy of slavery, with enduring stereotypes, biases, and prejudice impacting interpersonal relationships, opportunities for advancements, and overall societal perception. The systematic injustice continues to undermine the full realization of human rights and equality for the descendants of enslaved individuals. The system impact of slavery on its descendants encompass economical, social, cultural, and psychological dimensions, perpetuating inequities and injustice that must be addressed through comprehensive reparations and systemic reform to foster genuine equity and justice in society. Notice I said equity, because that's what we're owed, the equity in what we built. The report, The Road to Zero Wealth, published by the Institute for Policy Studies, provided compelling evidence as to why now is the time to give reparations to the descendants of American slaves. The report highlighted the persistent and widening racial wealth gap. Widening racial wealth gap in the United States. With African American households facing disproportionate economic challenges compared to their white counterparts. One key finding of this report is that the median wealth of white households is projected to be 86 times higher than the black households by 2020, which has become a reality. This staggering wealth disparity underscores the deep-rooted systematic inequalities that continue to perpetuate economic injustice in America. Moreover, the report emphasizes the intergenerational nature of wealth accumulation, with historical injustices such as slavery, segregation, and discriminatory policies. Let me reread that. Moreover, the report emphasizes the intergenerational nature of wealth accumulation, with historical injustices such as slavery, segregation, and discriminatory policies having profound and enduring impact on the economic well-being of foundational Black American families. The systemic barrier have hindered the ability of foundational Black Americans to build and transfer wealth across generations, exacerbating the wealth gap over time. Given these stark realities, the urgency to address the racial wealth gap and provide reparations to the descendants of American slaves is evident. Reparations are not only a matter of rectifying past injustices, but also a necessary step towards promoting economic equity, social justice, and racial reconciliation in America. By acknowledging the historical injustices of slavery and implementing reparations, policymakers can begin to dismantle the systematic barriers that has perpetuated economic inequalities and disadvantages among foundational Black American communities. This report underscores the moral imperative and the pressing need for comprehensive reparations to address the enduring legacy of slavery and advance genuine racial equity in the United States. Now, I know that was a mouthful, family. However, it's very important to give the why. It is very important to give the why. Because so many people run around asking, well, why do you need reparations? So here I make sure to answer the why it's important. Now let's move to the bill itself, ladies and gentlemen. The goal is to have Congress adopt and pass this bill, the RDAS Act. the Reparations for the Descendants of American Slaves Act. Whereas the United States of America has a long history of slavery that has inflicted immeasurable harm and suffering upon generations of the descendants of American slaves, also known as American freedmen. Whereas the effects of slavery persist to this day, manifesting in systematic equalities, economic disparities, and social injustices. Whereas trillions of dollars of labor that was stolen from the slaves in America represent a profound and enduring injustice where the economic foundation of the nation was built upon the exploitation and dehumanization of millions. Whereas the wealth amassed through centuries of forced labor, enabled the development of industries, institutions, and infrastructure, perpetuating a system of inequality that continues to impact the descendants of enslaved individuals today. And that's speaking of all those companies that we just went over. Whereas it is the moral obligation of the United States government to rectify the injustices inflicted upon the descendants of American slaves, also known as American freedmen. Whereas comprehensive reparations are necessary to address the ongoing legacy of slavery and to promote equity and reconciliation in our society, be it enacted by the Congress of the United States of America. Let's get into these sections, ladies and gentlemen. Section 1, definitions. A, descendants of American slaves, also known as American freedmen, individuals who can trace their ancestry to persons enslaved in the United States prior to the abolition of slavery in 1865. Reparations for Freedmen Fund. Yep, we're establishing a fund in this. A dedicated fund established for the purpose of providing reparations to the descendants of American slaves, also known as American freedmen. Section 2, establishment of the reparations fund. A reparations fund, a reparations for freedmen fund be established with the initial allocation of $40 trillion over the next 40 years. And the reason why I did that is so that we can have a continual payment every year for the next 40 years to address this. Just like the Native Americans get theirs over time. So let's make sure that's a clear-cut situation. We want to make sure not just this generation, but the next generation and the next generation sees that wealth. So I'm going to start over. A reparations for freedmen fund be established with the initial allocation of $40 trillion over the next 40 years to the descendants of American slaves, also known as American freedmen. The reparations for freedmen fund shall be administered by a specially appointed commission comprised of representatives from relevant government agencies, economic experts, and representatives from the Black grassroots organizations elected by the American freedmen. So we get to elect who we're sending in to represent us on these boards that advocates for the descendants of American slaves specifically. So none of these people who are Pan-Africanizing our history, none of these people who's trying to merge our fight with someone else's fight, none of those people will be able to run to become a representative of our people, to be a representative for our reparations, to be a representative within the Freedmen Fund. Special elections for the Freedmen Fund. Let me go back there. Special elections for the fund representatives shall take place every 2 years, just like the House of Representatives. I'm gonna hold these people accountable. The commission shall oversee the disbursement of funds and the implementation of reparative policies outlined in this act. Let's move on. But before we do, family, I want you to put it in the comment section. Does this sound more like an actual reparations bill than the people who work in Congress? I would submit that it does. Especially with this part, Section 3, reparative cash payments. Oh, they ain't gonna like that. The descendants of American slaves, also known as American freedmen, shall be entitled to receive cash payments from the Reparations for Freedmen Fund. Cash payments shall be distributed on an annual basis over the course of 40 years, with the total amount allocated evenly among eligible descendants. Oh yeah, they're gonna hate that, but it's necessary. Section 4, reparative policies. In addition to cash payments, the Reparations for Freedmen Fund shall be used to implement reparative policies aimed at addressing systemic inequalities, and promoting racial equity. Reparative policies may include, but are not limited to, investments in education, job training programs, housing grant initiatives, healthcare access, business grants, land grants, and community development projects that are targeting areas with high concentrations of descendants of American slaves that are led by people within those communities. And I'm probably going to change that led by people to led by foundational Black Americans within that community, because people can be very vague as well. So yeah, I will be going in and changing that. The commission shall prioritize policies that directly benefit the descendants of American slaves and contribute to the long-term economic empowerment of social well-being. Let's move on. Section 5, and there's only 8 sections, family, so we're almost done with this. Section 5, oversight and accountability. The commission shall provide regular reports to Congress and the public on the progress of the reparations program, including the distribution of funds and the impact of reparative policies. So we're going to keep our eye on anybody in there, so we don't have the same issue that we had with the Freedmen Bank. An independent auditor shall be appointed to ensure transparency and accountability in the administrations of the Reparations for Freedmen Fund. Section 6, sunset provisions. This act shall remain in effect for a period of 40 years. I got to go back and change that. My apologies. 40 years, not 20. It shall remain for a period of 40 years from the date of enactment. After 40 years, the commission shall submit a final report to Congress evaluating the effectiveness of the reparations program and recommending any necessary legislation or policy changes, including recommendations on whether the program needs to continue. And I want to explain why 20 is showing up here, because originally I had 20 trillion and I went back in and changed it to 40 trillion. When I saw my brothers and sisters with the banner that says 40 trillion, damn it, I'm on cold. So guess what? I came back in and changed it to 40 trillion, but I missed a couple of spots there. So I will be making sure I go back in and change that right after I'm done with this recording. Section 7, funding. Oh, there's 9 sections. Excuse me, family. Funding. The 40 trillion to the reparations for Freedmen Fund shall be sourced from a combination of federal revenue, including tax revenue, with a special tax on companies and plantations that made their wealth within the legacy of slavery, and reallocations of existing government expenditures. So yeah, businesses are not getting off at all. You're going to pay just like everyone else. So we're taxing everybody because nothing can move. Nothing can move. Nothing can move without the labor of foundational Black Americans. Our ancestors did this. So everyone will pay what they owe. Congress shall appropriate additional funds as necessary to ensure the full implementation of this act. Section 8. Severability. If any provision of this act is found to be unconstitutional or otherwise invalid, such invalidity shall not affect the remaining provisions of this act, which shall remain in full force and effect. Because they love to try to come back and say, well, this isn't constitutional, this isn't constitutional. I made sure to go through this act and made sure that nothing that was unconstitutional was placed in this act. However, they will still try to say something is unconstitutional. So if they try that, we're making sure everything else will continue. Section 9, enactment. This act shall take effect immediately upon passage. Immediately. Not 10 years from now. Not after some study. Immediately after the passage of this act. Now tell me, family, this sound more like a reparations bill than anything you ever heard. Am I wrong on that? If I'm lying, please, someone let me know in the comments. And then give your opinion on how we should change a few things of this bill. Don't just say I'm wrong. I want you to tell me where I'm wrong and how we can fix it. Let's continue. This is the end right here, family. The economic prosperity of the United States was significantly bolstered by the labor of enslaved individuals whose uncompensated work laid the foundation for many industries and contributed immensely to the country's wealth. The systematic discrimination and oppression faced by the descendants of American slaves did not end with the abolition of slavery, but persisted through Jim Crow laws, segregation, and ongoing institutionalized racism, depriving generations of the descendants of American slaves of opportunities for advancement and wealth accumulation. The legacy of slavery and its aftermaths continue to shape social economic disparities, perpetuating cycles of poverty and inequality that disproportionately affects descendants of enslaved individuals. Acknowledging this historical debt and implementing reparations is essential for addressing the persistent injustices faced by the descendants of American slaves and fostering true equality and justice in American society. This bill is enacted to redress the historical justices inflicted upon the descendants of American slaves, to promote equity and reconciliation, and to reaffirm the principles of justice and equality upon which the United States was founded. And that is the end of our reparations bill. The RDAS Act. And people, I just want you all to know, it is not so crazy that I wrote this bill and I'm trying to push it to Congress. Many other communities do the same thing. The Asian community in California wrote several bills and just gave it to the lawmakers, the legislative branch in California. If we don't do these things, they won't get done. So me taking my expertise, I wrote this bill. I'm also going to be writing a national hate crime bill for Black Americans. But this is our bill. And it is important. It is important for everyone to get on a good foot and go sign this bill. If you found no fault in this bill, it is important for you to go and put your name on this bill so we can push it to these representatives. And any representative that wants to get put in the office should be handed this bill and say, if you're not going to push this bill, you don't have our support as Black Americans, foundational Black Americans in this country. Period. Point in black. That's where we're at today, ladies and gentlemen. That's where we're at. If you would like to support this channel, I welcome it and I love and appreciate it. However, I want to put it on your minds to take whatever support you would do for me and go to this petition and put funds behind this petition. Put your signature behind this petition. That way we can get it out to more eyes and more of us. Make sure you're sharing this petition. That is the best support that I can ask for. Because as I stated, this isn't about me. Nothing that the new black media does is about the people who are reporting or who are putting out these videos or doing these podcasts. It has nothing to do with any of us. It has everything to do with all of us. It's not about me. So I would definitely love it if you could take whatever support and put it on this petition. We all we got, and we're all we need. And with that being said, family and friends, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you're hitting that like and share button so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And if you have not done so yet, especially after going through this with you today, please hit that link in the description to the change.org site and put your signature on the petition for reparations. Family, it's our time. And we shall take this time and we will run it. Shout out to all my Patreons and my members of the church. With that being said, the doors of the church are now closed. Peace, family.